gonna pass this exam. I'm gonna pass this exam. I'm gonna pass this exam. I'm gonna pass this exam. Hi everybody, I'm Cambridge English teacher Rory from studentlanguages.com. And I have a question for you. How can you practice speaking English if you don't live in an English-speaking country? This is a question that loads and loads of students ask me. And so what I have for you today is a collaboration video I made where I teamed up with my friend Chris from My English Goals, and I asked him this question to see what he thinks about it. But before we discuss things like which apps you can use, which online resources you can use, and other useful information like that, I would like to ask you guys to give this video a like if you enjoy it, and write some comments below if you have any questions. Hopefully Chris will be here to answer some of those questions in the comments below as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That will help my channel to grow, and it will also help students like you to find my work. So subscribe to the channel and don't forget to press the bell notification afterwards, because then you can be notified every time I make a new video, which could be really useful for you, especially if you are preparing for a Cambridge English exam. And one more thing which will be really useful for you guys is that Chris is from America, so he has a different accent to myself. In fact, he has an American accent, which will be really useful for you when you are in the listening part of an exam, because if, for example, with the FCE and the CAE, you are most definitely going to listen to people who have different accents. So I know that a couple of days ago, I asked you a question in the community tab on my YouTube channel. If you don't know what that is, go to my YouTube page and have a look at the community tab, because I post pictures and questions there. And you guys told me that listening was the hardest exam paper for you. So if that's true, this video will be especially useful to watch, because you will listen to different accents. Okay, and don't forget to watch until the end of the video, because at the end of the video I'm going to tell you about a really useful resource that Chris has created for you guys. Okay, but without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Chris, or better yet, I'll get Chris to introduce himself to you. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Rory. It's great to be here.
Great to have you here.
Thanks. Yeah, so I am also an English teacher. I teach here in Spain, and I've been working here for 10 years with Spanish speakers and helping them to improve their English. We've got a blog going in our own channel called My English Goals, helping students to set goals in English to achieve helping them to achieve their goals.
Okay, well, I think that will be really useful for most of my students, because I think a lot of my students who want to take the Cambridge exams are from Spain, they're based in Spain. So for any of you students out there who are from Spain, you should definitely go and check out Chris's YouTube channel, as he said, My English Goals. And what we're going to talk about today is some general questions about learning English, maybe a few of the particular difficulties you might have when learning English. And I'm going to ask Chris a few questions and get some of his information and advice for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. It can be hard. A lot of students have told me that, like, I don't have anyone to speak to in English. Everyone speaks Spanish with me, or I don't have time. There's lots of things that make it hard, especially when you're not in an English country. But we're lucky today. In our age, we have all this internet technology that can help us. Okay, and there are lots of things that you can do. First of all, something you can do without any technology, without any contacts or anything is, it might sound a little crazy, but you can speak with yourself, right? What I mean is, for example, say you are thinking about, something that happened to you today, like maybe how your cat fell in the water or something like that, and you might say that situation. How would I explain that to someone in English? And then you start and you try to think about how you would say that in English, and then you say it. You might say it out loud or whisper it or something, or maybe say it in a mirror so that you can see yourself talking. And just to think about things like that, or think about, what did I eat yesterday? And then just try to say that in English to yourself. And that way, if you're presented with the opportunity to speak that with somebody else, you'll be more prepared to do it.
There were some good ideas that you gave there as well, some that I'd never thought of, like saying it to yourself in a mirror. I think that could be quite a good technique. Maybe whispering it something, answering a question in English and whispering it at first, and then you could say it again and again. And the more times you repeat something, maybe the more confident you will become saying this phrase as well. Practice makes perfect, that's what they say. I'm gonna pass this exam. 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 That's not a mirror. Yeah, Chris, there are some really good points. But how can I find someone to speak with?
Now, how do you find people to speak with? There are lots of great ways to do that. One good way is with applications on your phone, right? So there are some applications like HelloTalk, Tandem, italki. These applications allow you to find other native English speakers that want to learn Spanish, or other English learners, right, that want to practice English. And you connect with them, and with the natives, you speak for a little bit in English with them, and then they speak in Spanish with you, so that you're learning each other's languages through practice. And you make new friends and new connections, and it's fun. And if you find other people that are learning English, for example, if you speak Spanish, but you find somebody from China that wants to learn English too, you have to speak in English with that person because you don't know each other's languages. So it's great English practice. It motivates you to speak in English. Online, there's also a lot of groups, Facebook groups, and people that organize WhatsApp groups and things like that. So there's really no excuse to not being able to find people to speak to, even if you live in another country.
Yeah.
So there's lots of great ways you can practice speaking.
And I noticed on your YouTube channel, Chris, that you do some videos where you're looking at different language learning apps. Is that correct?
Yeah. I like to look for, technology makes everything easier these days,
Yeah.
right? Everything.
Yeah.
And language learning especially. The more we can use technology to help us, the easier it'll be. We don't need to always have, it's hard. You always want to have like an English teacher with you, so that if you have a problem, you can ask them immediately and find the answer, right? But just using an app like Google Translate, for example, Google Translate's not always perfect, but it's often very good. So if you want to practice with Google Translate, you can let it record what you're saying. You can say a sentence in English and see if it understands you correctly on the screen. And or you can type it if you want to, right? If you want to type something in English, see if it translates it into your language correctly. And then there's a reverse translate option on it, so that you can see if it translates it back into English correctly, to see if what you're saying makes sense, if you are speaking correctly, if you're pronouncing correctly, if you're writing correctly. So these tools, there's so many tools that can help us.
Yeah, we're lucky to live nowadays, I think, when we have all this technology for us. And again, there were some really good tips. So for you students out there, what I'll do is I'll put a link to Chris's channel in the description. Then you can hop over there and have a look at some of these other great and useful videos. I'll also put a couple of links in the description to a couple of exam groups that I'm part of that are on Facebook or WhatsApp, because they'll probably be really useful for you guys as well. So I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching this video, guys. When you watch my videos, it helps with the YouTube algorithm, and therefore it helps more students like you to find my work. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Don't forget to give it a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And after you do that, you can press the bell notification, and then you will be notified every time I make a new video. I have done the same with YouTube channels that I like, because I get a notification on my phone and I say, hey, they've got a new video out. And that will be really useful for you guys, especially if you are preparing for a Cambridge English exam. And I mentioned at the beginning that Chris has a really useful resource for you guys, and that is his Conversation Starters worksheet that he's created. So I'm going to put a link to that worksheet in the description below this video for you. But for now, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching this video. I've been Cambridge English teacher Rory from studentlanguages.com. Bye bye.